learn about vectors in 2 dimensions. Vectors are quantities that possess both magnitude and directions. The more common way to represent vectors includes the matrix form or the column form, where the first row usually represents the x-axis directions and the second row usually represents the y-axis directions. It can also be represented by using letter. The component form AI plus BJ, I also represents the x-axis, J usually represents the y-axis. And when we write A to B with an arrow at above it, it means that the directions from A to B. We can evaluate the magnitude of vector by using Pythagoras theorem, because essentially we're talking about walking in the horizontal directions followed by vertical directions. As a result, its magnitude can be found using the Pythagoras theorem. In a quick example, if we have a vector of 3 and 4, if we would like to figure out its magnitude, it may mean that you are moving in the direction of 3 units in the horizontal directions and 4 units in the vertical directions. So its magnitude by using Pythagoras theorem is going to be 5. The meaning of position vector is resembling the idea of positions in Cartesian coordinate system. If a point has coordinate xy, its position vector is xy. What does it mean? It means that relative to the origin, you have to move x unit in the x directions and y unit in the y directions. You will be reaching these particular positions of xy. A unit vector is a vector with magnitude of 1. So the way to evaluate unit vector, the way to represent unit vector is by having a hat above the alphabet. It is evaluated by the vector divided by the magnitude of the vector. A quick example, in this case, if a vector equals to 6, 8, we can evaluate its magnitude, and its magnitude is 6 square plus 8 square, third of it. So in another word, it's 10. So if we would like to evaluate this unit vector, all we have to do is just use the original vector divided by its magnitude. Or in another word, you will have 1/10 multiplied 6, 8. So that's the reason why you will get 0.6 and 0.8 in both of the x and y directions. For operations related to vector, we will perform it as how the normal operations will be done. We will add up the same dimensions values together. For an example, if u equals to 2, 3, v equals to 4, 1, if we would like to add up these two vectors, u plus v, all you have to do is just plus the same unit dimensions, 2 plus 4. In the y-axis, the same unit dimensions, 3 plus 1, and you will be able to get 6, 4. If you would like to multiply it, same thing applies. You just have to multiply it on both dimensions. So 2v is equivalent to 2 times of 4, 1. So that's the reason why you will get A2. We can compose and resolve vectors. For an example, in this particular case, we were told that a boat travels at a velocity of 5 meters east and 3 meters per second due north. The resultant velocity is what? When we were asked the resultant velocity, we are talking about its magnitude. So we're talking about 5 due east, 3 due north. So once again, you can use the Pythagoras theorem to figure out the answer. Here are a couple of questions. Let's practice them. If you have a vector of v equals to -3, 4, if you would like to figure out its magnitude, you will use modulus sign next to the v to represent magnitude. So -3 square, 4 square, and eventually you will have to insert it. So the answer is going to be 5. Moving on to the next questions. If a equals to 2, 1, b equals to -1, 3, a plus b simply is going to be 2 plus -1, 1 plus 3. So that's how you get 1, 4. For the next questions, you would like to figure out the unit vector. U equals to 6, -8. Now again, you have to first figure out the magnitude. 6 square, -8 square. So the answer is going to be 10. And head of u represents unit vector, which is equivalent to 1 over magnitude of u multiplied u itself. So 1 over 10, 6 -8. You'll then be able to get 0.6, -0.8. A car travels 12 meters due east, 5 meters per second due north. What is the resultant velocity? Again, you are using Pythagoras theorem. (12 square plus 5 square), the answer is 13 meters per second. You can also figure out its directions if you would like to. This has to be a right angle because east and north, they are perpendicular to each other. Therefore, you can use tangent theta equals to 5 over 12 and theta equals to inverse 5 over 12. You can press the calculator and get the answer. C equals to 7, 24. We would like to resolve its horizontal and vertical component. As we have mentioned to you before, you can write vector in the matrix form, in the column form. You can also write it in the component form, where the first row will represent 7i, the x-axis, and the second row will represent the y-axis. So the horizontal component is going to be 7, and the vertical component is going to be 24. Thank you very much for listening. Do remember to watch and work on the additional exercise.